And here we go again on today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode, what are we at, 168. So, how you guys doing today? As you can tell, it's late in the day, and I've been running amok out in Mesa, and meeting with an old client of mine who's looking at selling his house and moving into an assisted living facility. And so, ran out there, had to stop at McDonald's on the way home. And other than that, everything's pretty good to go. And let's talk real estate. So last week, as you remember, I was sick, and so still got a recording out, still got a video out. Didn't have a lot of content or anything like that, but hey, you know what? 168 episodes, and I haven't missed a week yet. I'm, sitting pretty proud. It just means the 1 week I am going to miss it, it's going to make it so much worse, isn't it? So, anyways, real estate wise, this is December 7th right now, and so this is Pearl Harbor. Hold on. I think somebody's sneaking up on me. Nope, it was nobody. It was just, building noises. Everybody's pretty much. Jessica, the office manager, took off this morning to go on her elk hunt. Steve looks like he's headed up the mountain and stuff like that. So it's just me rattling around the office. So, neighbors on the far wall over there, whatnot. Every once in a while you hear weird little noises. The ghosts of deals past, but. All right, real estate wise. Well, news-wise, what we got going on is the same stuff we've been discussing. We're still dealing with the ramifications of the court case that happened out in Missouri. Couple new states have kicked in. All right, I think I mentioned Illinois and Tennessee and New York, and now we got Florida's kicking off. Interesting thing about the Florida suit is that these attorneys, what they do is they're just doing a grab bag. They're just shotgunning offers out there and whatnot, and they wound up including in the suit a individual broker. Not a franchise, not connected to anyone with big guys. And that guy is a 100% commission house. And what a 100% commission house is, and this is a term I use for them, they're the gym membership brokerages, right? You make a sale, you keep 100% of the commission on that transaction that you negotiated with the seller or you were getting from representing the buyer. You don't pay the house a cut. But what you do pay is you're going to pay usually the house a monthly fee, maybe an office fee, and you'll probably have something along the lines of there'll be a transaction cost, like $3.99 for every transaction that you owe your brokerage. So I was reading the owner of the brokerage's commentary, and he was like sitting there going, we have no control over what our agents charge for a commission. So if you're coming at us and saying, hey, we're manipulating the system by forcing people to pay commissions, we're literally not forcing anybody to pay commissions. So how does that work out? And in a lot of cases, what it looks like in some of these states is that the attorneys seeking truth and justice in the American legal system are literally just going after the deepest pockets they can. So every one of these states, it looks like the individual broker, maybe not so much the big brokerages, but the individual small brokerages, yeah, they're going to war on this. So for those attorneys out there who thought they were just going to get somebody to roll over and settle, some of you guys are going to be for a fight, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out, especially since the appeal process is starting to kick off on the NAR lawsuit. And at first I heard, they have no grounds to appeal. Now there is at least somebody came out with a pretty decent argument about why this thing should have appealed, and even apparently got the judge on record stating, yeah, maybe I should have done it that way instead. So who knows? This could all be a tempest in a teapot. Doubt it, but we'll see how that one works out. Here in the state of Arizona, what's our big things that we got going on right now? We got the holidays. All right, so real estate's pretty dead. Let's check the numbers real quick, though, just so we can get them out of the way. So what we got, these are the numbers I ran yesterday on December 6th, 2023. Actives this week are 15,697. That's down 239. That's the second consecutive week we've seen a loss in active listings. Now watch this. New listings went up 1,622, up 573, which is a little bit more normal, more than we expect. Getting into the month. Contracts are 1,737, up 410, and closings for the last week, and this would have included the last day of the month of November, were 1,488. Coming soon to an MLS near you are 437. Our supply is at 65.7 of normal. Our demand is at 68.6 of normal, putting us at 104.4 in a balanced market. So across the county, in the individual cities and whatnot, we have Chandler is still in the best position for the seller side at 167.1, change of 0 from month over month. So we're actually seeing that starting to slow down. All right. The one area that did grow up, Goodyear, always a growth area, always being Goodyear out there. Okay, they're actually up 11% over month at 89.5. They are still technically in the seller's market at that, but if they continue on the slope, they might move back into balance. That would be really interesting to watch. Our two balance markets we have right now is Paradise Valley and Peoria. Paradise Valley being Paradise Valley, we almost don't pay attention to them. All right, and just understand that Peoria is the balanced market out there. On the buyer side, all right, Goodyear, Cave Creek, Surprise, Queen Creek, Maricopa, and Buckeye. All right, and our biggest loser area is Paradise Valley, of course, with the second one in place being Cave Creek. Cave Creek is being Cave Creek. What's going on with you? And Goodyear was the only growth, and our least affected after that would have been Chandler. Just like I said, just dropping down 1%. Fountain Hills 6%. All right, remember, this is not. Don't think of that as a prize. I know somebody up there has never watched this episode or this show before. Probably just, oh my God, Paradise Valley just dropped 26%. It's the crash I've been waiting for. It's not the crash. That's not a crash. All right. That just means the demand is sliding off that. But let's take a look at this one more time, because this is the supply and demand balanced market. Look at that. We still don't have the listings that we should have at, we should be sitting there at 25,000, not 15,000. That's why we're at 65. All right. And our contracts, demand out there at 68.6, still gently going down. But I did want to point out some news. We've been talking about this for like the last 2 weeks. All right. Don't know if you read it. How low can they go? Mortgage rates are back under 7. Right, we've been seeing this slide down since October. All right, in October we hit the peak in that, and it was like, oh, everybody, it's the end of it. The interest rates have been sliding back down, but remember, it's also correlated at the same time that we're going into the winter doldrums. That's why we're not seeing a lot of effect, right? All right, but we're back under 7. All right, so a whole bunch of people are suddenly able to afford houses that they couldn't have back in October. All right. Plus, added to our normal seasonality, what happens the first week of January, I'm literally telling all my people, hey, just stand by. The phone's going to start ringing off the hooks, all right? Let's take a look at this one for 1 month from today and see if I'm saying exactly the same thing on January 7th as I'm saying today. Hey, look, it took off, right? That's a big one. And like I said, demand is still there or need is still there, not demand, right? But the need for housing is still there because people are still moving here. What else did I see? All right, they are expecting mortgage lending to pick up next year. And this one I found fascinating. We had a conversation earlier, people talking about how millennials are moving into the market space. More millennials are getting interested in housing. And I was sitting there trying to explain demographics, how people are, it's a 33 years average is when people buy their first houses, and the big tranche of millennials have hit that. All right. And now let's check this one out. All right. It's not just their age group anymore. It's actually millennials are more real estate obsessed than their parents by a poll. More millennials care about real estate. And the Zoomers after them are also more interested in real estate than Xers and Boomers. Why is that? Well, basically because we got ours, and the kids are sitting there watching their rents go up every year. They're starting to buy into that concept where if you sit there and you get a house and you get a mortgage rate, your mortgage will stay the same for the next 30 years, and then it goes to 0. Right? You can't say that about rents. Right? You can't say that about rents. I can't even tell you the last time I've actually heard of rents dropping. Even during the crash, well, actually before the crash, rents were dropping because we had a lot of vacancies. All right, that's one of those little canaries in the coal mines I'm always telling you guys about to keep your eye out on. All right, how do you know when the crash is coming? When you're starting to see 10, 15, 20% vacancy rates on rentals. And when you start seeing those signs, free first and last month's rent, all right, that's when you know these guys are getting really desperate to get tenants into their rental properties, right? So you keep an eye on that, right? On top of just simple, the thing about a panic is you have to have panic, all right? And when you have a panic, you have panic selling. Oh my God, get me out of here. I don't care anymore. You don't have that in this market right now. And one of these articles I just read, they're saying like 80%, 4 out of 5 dentists agree that they're not getting rid of their home loan. Right? 4 out of 5, 80% have a interest rate of less than 5%. This is killing the refi market. All right. Refis are dead because the majority of people have it under 5. You'd be refinancing into a 7. Why would you want to refinance into a 7? Right? If you have a 5 or a 4, right? That doesn't make any sense. So anybody who would be doing something like that are doing it because of life changes, like a divorce and you have to pay off the spouse. Oh my, we suddenly need a big chunk of money to put Johnny through college, all right? And for some reason they've decided to go with refinancing instead of a HELOC. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right? You might in some of these cases see these refinances comes in because, oh my God, people still signed up for ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, through this entire thing. People who have learned nothing. All right, Lord help you if you have an arm that's adjusting right now in this, in the 7s. All right, we all saw this game back in 08. We all saw it back in 07. We knew they were coming to do in 05. We knew 05 we were going to get hit in 07 when all those things adjusted, and look what happened. All right, so yeah, not a good time to be a lender out there. Almost as bad as the time is to be a real estate agent out there. But so that's our market. Hey, it's the holidays. I don't have a lot to talk about. All right. Last year was the biggest thing. We're doing a lot of goal planning here, a lot of business planning. Where do you want to be next year? How much money do you want to make? How many closings do you want to have? What is there a new market that you want to interact with? You decide, I don't like working with the boomers anymore, and now I want to focus my marketing on Zoomers and millennials. Interesting question whether or not that's a fair housing violation. All right, that would be a really, one of these days I'd love to get somebody who's actually like expert on that and throw questions at them. Hey, if I market my SRES, my senior real estate, specialist certification, all right, could that be considered a fair housing violation if I market to that because I'm not openly marketing to all age groups because age is a protected category? Great conversations I've never heard had because I think the whole conversation would get really uncomfortable really quick. Because if you can't market directly to seniors, then what is the purpose of paying hundreds of dollars a year to National Association of Realtors to say I'm an SRES specialist? Same with the ABR. Okay, I just took it's accredited buyer's representative. That's what I was doing last week with my head cold. Good class. Learned a couple cool tricks and a couple cool tips. I can't say that I actually walked out of there going I'm 80% smarter than when I walked in because, after 13 years, I pretty much knew everything they were talking about. Okay, not bragging here, all right? Just with experience comes age. Look at Yoda, all right? The ABR class is like, it was fun. It was entertaining. Me and the instructor did not get along very well together for reasons, and I figured out what it was by like day 3 because like day 2 there was so guess what, 14 minutes into into this video and I finally come up with a topic. Let's talk about predatory team leads. You've never heard of a predatory team lead before because I came up with the term last week off the top of my head. Right? What a predatory team lead is that is a real estate agent who has developed their business to the point where they can start putting together that classic real estate team. I'll have a transaction coordinator, I'll have a couple buyer specialists, and that team leader can then just specialize in marketing themselves and their team. When the real work shows up, they hand it off to a snuffy and let the snuffies do it. And you've heard me talk before about how the team's going to get a cut and this and that and the other thing. And what I've noticed is there are team leaders out there who do not set their individual team members up for unqualified success. They do not have a mentorship mentality, and they do not have a mentorship program. They encourage their team members to just learn that particular part of the widget that they are focused on. And don't worry about what's happening anywhere else. Don't learn. All you have to do is learn how to unlock doors and show pretty kitchens, girl. All right. And once they're ready to write an offer, then you hand it over to your transaction coordinator. They will take care of it. All right. You just go unlock doors. And there are team leads out there who do that. So there was a student in this class that I was attending, and the student was talking about how she basically just got her ass chewed by her team lead because her team lead was telling her you were spending too much time going to classes and learning things than actually doing real estate. I can see how that could be an actual point of concern if 40 hours of the week you're in a class and you're not doing the things that you need to do to bring work into the team. Like, wait, you just signed up for a class this weekend and you have a buyer you're supposed to take out. That's a reason why a team lead might be. But in this particular case, it's just like, no, it sounded like that this agent was working for a predatory team leader. So I mentioned that to her over a Zoom call, and the instructor, I could tell that he took offense at it. Oh, no, team, And then a couple days later, he mentioned that he was a team lead of his brokerage where he was teaching at. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see how that could have hurt your feelings, especially if you suddenly realized, oh my God, I've been like doing bad things to my team members the entire time and not growing them as agents. So for those of you, or for the user in real estate, those of you who are thinking about getting in real estate, I say this a million times and I'll continue to say it, all right? You really do need to look at the brokerage and the people you work with and you surround yourself with. Not necessarily me and Steve, all right? But just in general, you got to make sure that you're going to be that good social fit, all right? And you're going to learn and you're going to get better, and you're working in an office that has the ethics that reflect your own. Right. One thing coming out of that ABR class like there is like all the different ways people practice real estate and still fall under the code of ethics of National Association of Realtors. All right. One of the reasons why I don't run around calling myself a realtor, all right, is because it's so pretentious. And two, I've seen the code of ethics. All right. And I realized they wrote that with some carve outs to make sure they can still do things that they want to do, whether or not I consider them ethical. So I don't run around calling myself a realtor. I don't wear this. This has literally been in my drawer since the first day I got it, and that's the third drawer it's been in. All right, because I hold myself to a higher standard than that. If you ever wanted to hear me really give a good conversation of why my standards are higher than the National Association of Realtors, next time you see me at the bar, buy me a drink. I'll be happy to talk your ear off. And to wrap the whole thing up, somebody did not pay attention, and I'm really, really sorry to have to report this, but we had a child die last week because they weren't watched around water. I am going to give a caveat on this because this may be something that nobody ever thought of before, but me, because I am paranoid about these things. The child drowned in a swimming pool. All right. The child left the house through the doggy door. All right. I strongly encourage anybody out there who has a swimming pool. All right. I know FHA and VA requirements on if you have a pool, you have to have automatic closing doors. If you don't have a fence around the pool itself, and if you do have a fence, it has to be on the other side of a childproof gate. All right. But just because you have the automatic closer on your door and you don't have that fence does not mean your toddler can't get through the doggy door that was the size for your Great Dane. All right. I feel very sorry for the family stuff. I just want to drive this point home. All right. Kid proof your house. If you're buying a house with children, you don't have to ask that the seller makes the house kid proof, but let's take a really, really good look at that pool, those holes in the ground you pour money into. All right. So that'll be said. What else do we do after this? All right. We're not just watching the kids. We're watching the pets, especially if they have a doggy door going out. All right. We're not driving into anything flooded. All right. We're going to continue to work our circles because it's the holidays, which means we got to interact with people that we normally interact with, and all things like. Have a great week, and I'll catch you guys next week, right? At least I'll catch you next week if I can get my mouse to start working so I can turn this off. There we go. It's going to happen sooner or later. And bye.